Now that we have the basics of Canvas out of the way, it's time to take things to the next level. So here are 15 different ways that you can level up your Canvas game. The first place to start is by having clear names for the different assets that you are putting into Canvas. One of the things that I like to do is I like to name things based on the week, or in this case, a module. And I like to number them from top to bottom. So it's very clear that there is a certain number, and it's very easy to reference these later in emails or announcements telling students exactly where to go, or in other instructions. In addition to that, you should try to remove as much ambiguity as possible by using, clear titles to help students understand what they're diving into. If just simply homework 1, homework 2, homework 3, you can make it a little more clear by adding, what those things are about, and that will help things. The other thing that you can do to increase engagement is also use emojis. In this case, I use a flame to point out that those are specific assignments that students need to use. One of the other things that I've seen from a variety of instructors is that they will go in and put dates, hard code those right into different narratives that they have in assignments or discussions, or just, their syllabus, and they're using these hard dates. Well, when you roll over a course, you have to go in and find all those different dates and make changes to them. That is just increasing the amount of work that you have to do. So with assignments, you can set due dates at the assignment level, which you can then update very rapidly as you roll over a new course. But to go in and specifically mention those within the narrative of those instructions, you're setting yourself up to do a lot of extra work, and that can be avoided. When possible, go ahead and use imagery to break things up as far as the visual design of your page. Use good headings, which is very much aligned with accessibility and universal design for learning principles. So look at the pages that you are presenting and make sure that they're clear, or any of the documents that you are adding. And if you can add visuals, certainly do that. I recommend that you take the content that you have in separate documents like Word documents or PDF documents and actually create pages as part of Canvas, as native Canvas or whatever LMS that you're using, and make those native pages. And the reason is it helps to make your content mobile ready. A lot of students are looking at using the mobile app in order to get to your content, and what will happen is as these pages are presented, they will adjust to that type of device that they're using or the screen size. Where if you're using a PDF document, in most cases that will not happen. That students will have to either stretch it out, move side to side, and you're impacting their ability to easily read those documents. So if you want students to really consume your content, make it mobile friendly by using pages that are native to the LMS. If you want students to have immediate access to your content and make your classes more inclusive, I recommend that you go to open education resources. That way you are not fretting about the fact that students don't have the textbook yet and the content is available. You can also then localize this content to use examples that are more applicable to the region that you're in or applicable to the discipline that you're teaching. So you can, mix and match and provide the content that's really useful for your class. And it strips down the fluff. A lot of textbooks have a lot of extra content in it, but a lot of this content is never touched upon in the classroom. So having OER content will allow you to focus really on the essentials of your class. When possible, make it as easy as you can for students to get to the content that you want them to get to. So if you have a to-do list of things that they're going to work on for this week and you want them to review a PowerPoint or lecture content that you have, put a link directly to that from that to-do list. Likewise, if you have them participating getting into discussion. Link right to the discussion or whatever assignment or quiz. You can do this, and that way you're more certain that they will get to the content that you want them to get to. So very easy to do in probably all the LMSs that I'm aware of. When you write assignments, try to write transparent assignments. This came from TILT, Transparency in Learning and Teaching, and this helps to provide really clear instructions. I've looked at instructions from various courses throughout my career, and lots of those courses are lacking the detail that is useful for students to be successful. So spend a little more time on your assignments. Tell students why that particular assignment is there, why it's part of the course, what skills that they need in order to successfully complete the course, and then also what the task is that you want them to do and what they need to turn in order to be successful. Certainly rubrics play a part in this. Speaking of rubrics, there we go, right? A rubric helps to speed up grading while also helping students identify what is essential to the completion of that assignment. And so very easy to add to your course. Your institution may also require that you use objectives from the institution level, and they can be added to your rubrics and weaved into your course. If you are using a third-party textbook, or if you're using tools like Turnitin in Canvas, one of the things that you can do is you can launch an external tool. So you would bring up your assignment and change the submission type to external tool, search for that particular tool. If it's available, you can choose it. Now, if it's not available, you'll probably have to reach out to your Canvas administrator in order to have that tool added. But once you choose that tool, select it, and save your assignment, students will be brought to that third-party tool in order to complete that assignment. In some cases, you may be having research papers or essays. One of the easiest ways to grade those is actually to download all the submissions. You'll get a zip file with all the submissions in it. You can unzip it, you can grade those, and then you can add them right back into Canvas after you've done track changes and made your annotations on them, and they will be returned to the students with all those annotations intact. And really easy to do. Basically, you go to your assignment, and part of it, you have the speed grader, but right below that, you have the ability to download submissions. And that will speed up the process instead of doing it one at a time. I am a huge fan of mastery level quizzes and using test banks in order to build that foundational knowledge. So one of the things that you can do is you can build test banks in Canvas, and from there you can then build tests that randomly pull questions from those test banks. You can start making cumulative test quizzes that you give to students, every week, or I like to turn it on where they only get credit when they have aced the quiz, but I give them multiple chances in order to do this. And the research goes out to say this is a very powerful way for increasing student success and helping them to develop vocabulary that they can use across the whole curriculum. In our case, the college that I'm working at, that one of the things that you can do is link specifically to research guides that we have developed, and you can bring your students right to that essential information and linking to discipline related journals and books and online resources that have been curated for your particular class. And if you don't see something that is applicable to your particular class, reach out to the librarians and they'll be happy to build something for you. But you can link directly to those. It's just grabbing the URL, just like you would grab a URL from any other page. One of the very powerful tools that we have available in our Canvas is we're using Echo 360. And this is a great place to share your videos. And with those videos, you can then share them back out to your class. And you can also enhance those with learning prompts or polls, questions that you have the video stop at different points and ask students questions. And that can also be tied back to an assignment or assessment that is graded. So a very powerful tool. Do not upload videos directly into Canvas. One, you don't have the space, at least at our institution, and two, it will degrade the experience because Canvas does not natively stream videos. Students would have to download it in order to view it, where a tool like Echo 360 or YouTube, you can stream those particular videos. Another place where you can level up your course is by addressing pinch points. When students come to you after class and ask you for clarification on something, that is essentially a pinch point. And you can use your learning management system as a place where you can add additional resources to help add clarity and remove confusion. Likewise, if students take an exam and there's a high number of students that have missed a specific question, once again, you can weave this back into your learning management system and provide additional resources. The great thing is every time you roll over your class, it keeps getting better and better because you keep addressing these different pinch points. Very, very powerful strategy, very much in line with universal design for learning, and always providing choice and support in your courses. One of the tools that I use extensively is Diigo. Diigo is a social bookmarking tool, so it allows me to collect resources and tag them based on different topics. And so if what I can do is grab a unique URL for that particular topic, in this case dealing with the library, and put that into my course. And so anytime that I find a resource that I think is important and I tag it in Diigo with that specific term, students will always have the latest and greatest. And if students, keep those links as part of their resources well into the future, years into the future, if you're still using Diigo and marking things with that term, they will always have access to what you think is important. And you can continue adding value to them well after the course has stopped. So I am definitely a fan of Diigo. In alignment with that is a tool, and this is the bonus tool. It's called Hypothesis. And Hypothesis allows you to do social annotation, and you can actually do social annotation on content that is within your Canvas course. And you can restrict this to maybe a unique grouping that's related to your class. Students could go in and add notes and annotations based on things that you are presenting, and making very much a community in this environment. So Hypothesis, wonderful tool, strongly recommend it. Well, that is 16 different ways that you can level up your course in your learning management system. I focused on Canvas, but you can take it to whatever learning management system that you have and just help get to the next level. So thank you for joining me.